Excellent. So before we start, I would like to make sure that everybody understands that this TeachMeet is being recorded. Okay, so we push the recording button now. Okay, so welcome everybody to this TeachMeet for the rerun of the Europeana in Your Classroom online course. I'm Bori Pötze. I'm the coordinator of this course, and I'm very happy to be here today and also to welcome our presenters who are also teachers and participants of this course. And they are mainly here today to share their experiences about creating a Europeana learning scenario or some interesting facts, apps, and stuff that they found on the Europeana website. So I'm speaking now to the presenters. As you may know, you will have presenter rights, and you will all have 5 minutes to present. And you can move your own slides, but please wait until your own turn comes around to turn on your microphone and start moving your slides. And I would like to encourage every participant to think of some questions for the presenters, because after everybody has finished presenting, we will have some time for questions. So you can write it in the chat, which you can find in the right bottom corner. So you can just type your questions there and we will make sure to read them at the end and the presenters will answer. Okay? So without further ado, I suggest we start right away, and our first presenter is Elisabetta. Elisabetta, are you here? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
So I'm Elizabeth Fish from Portugal, and I'm a ECT teacher. And in the ECT classes, in the beginning, we started to present what is the evolution of the computers and the information importance to our society, firstly, the evolution of computers and how the computers work, the binary code, programming, software, hardware, and so on.
I'm
So
sorry, Elisabetta,
one of the
one
first
second.
presenters
You sound a little bit, it's really hard to understand
technologies,
you.
all start, all begin technologies. So it is important for me
do something about the
to
microphone?
students
Can
the
you
idea
try and
that
turn it off and on again? Okay, thank you.
you hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm going to try again. Go on.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good now. Yes, thank you.
So, the presentation of my ECT classes, I try to make the connection between the evolution of the binary code and the computers and the society. And that is very important because things start with machines a long time ago, and was very big machines and so on. And for the kids, I want also to make them curiosities to explore some of the artifacts and engineers that make the evolution. Some of the evolution started, for instance, the Jacquard arts to make clothes. So my team for the learning lesson is to go to present Europeana and the CC, the copywriters, and also to research skills to the students and connect that with the computer evolutions. And also, of course, some critical thinking and the evolution of the society as well. And for that, I remark some of the points important in the evolution of DCT. The students start to research. Some, for instance, is Pascal with a box that starts with 8 digits to make counting. Jacques L'Homme with also to make the Jesus, and then Charles Babbage, what was considered one of the fathers of the computers, and also at the same time Ada Lovelace, the first woman that was a computer writer, programming. Ulrich later started the IBM corporation, and then the first bubbles with Ford. Between all these stages, there are a lot of evolutions. So students should groups start to research one of these parts of the evolution and start to make a story of these evolutions and then present to the class group. And that class also should make questions like I first start to present like, for instance, what if the evolution did not take place? How would the world be today, and so on? So they should be a debate between for each group. In the end of the debate, they have some conclusions that should be presented to the colleagues, and so the evolution of the technologies in class should be made in that debate discussion group between students. And so my 21st century skills, I hope, to be developed. Collaboration, critical thinking, communication, literacy, and literacy. That is my learning scenario.
Thank you very much. It was very, very interesting, although the sound was a little bit unfluent, so we could not hear you very well at times. But I think it's very interesting that you found a topic that's very relevant for today's students and that you managed to integrate 21st century skills as well. Okay, so if you have any questions for our first presenter, then please post them in the chat and we can ask her later. Now let's move on to the second presenter, Juan. Are you here? Can you hear us?
Okay, now I can listen. I can
Excellent.
hear you.
We can hear you as well.
Can you listen to me?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay. So, well, I hope this time the sounds works properly. Let me introduce myself. I'm a secondary school teacher. I work at the Adult Education Center in the southeast of Europe, in Spain. And the title of my learning scenario is This Time I'm Voting. And because I'm convinced that this time it's not only about voting in the next European Parliament elections, but also making our students aware about the issues at stake in the May European Parliament elections. So, as a kick-off activity, we started with our learners with a three-sided activity in which, after teacher introduction to the main topic, that is the current situation that the European Union is undergoing nowadays, that is the Brexit and the emerging extreme right-wing parties, students pool their ideas about how can we motivate other young people to vote in the next European elections. After that, we follow by using the website all our ideas to make a wiki survey. Again, the leitmotif, the topic was why should we all vote in the next European elections? Eventually, the best ideas in the group will bubble up to the top. So, after these two activities, we started with a home assignment, that is, students were required to search Europeana collections, Europeana resources, for evidences about former election processes that were held in European context. And they, for instance, I just put some examples of these evidences, such as video footage from election processes held in France, and also snapshots from polling booths in United Kingdom, and also learning from the struggle and suffering from the suffragettes in United Kingdom at the beginning of the 20th century. Also, the posters from the DDR and Communist China show that it's not just the message of the poster that can influence people's opinion, but also the illustration or the painting style. Yeah, the third activity was by means of using the app GoSynth, in which students were contributing to a class podcast in which we tested the oral production. Remember, we are in a foreign language class, and also we fostered the respect toward the views from other learners. In this podcast, the main topic, the leitmotif, was why voting in the 26th May election, and all one after the other, all students were adding their views and thus this way contributing to the class podcast. Okay. Um, as a final activity, as a final evaluation and assessment activity, we decided to design as a whole in small groups a Kahoot activity in which all students contributed by selecting, designing the questions, a total of 20 questions, and in the form of a competition. We tested, we assessed the knowledge gained by participating in this activity. Finally, we decided to choose the attribution CCBY because it maximizes distribution with no limit. So, in a nutshell, this lesson focuses on a cooperative project based upon intensive use of IT resources, Europeana research, and mainly critical thinking by part of the students. So, I hope you like it. Any questions?
Thank you very much. This was also very interesting. And I really like the fact that you used all our ideas, which we also used on the platform. Okay, thank you. And if you have any questions for Juan, please post them in the chat. And now we are going to move on to our next presenter, Edita. Edita, are you here? Can you hear us? Hello, Edita.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Please go
Oh, great.
ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Edyta Sosnowska. I'm a teacher of English from Poland, working at the School for Disabled Students. I would like to share my ideas of how to use students' own mobile devices and implement them into the teaching. Why mobile devices like telephones or tablets? Because sometimes we don't have enough equipment at school and the computers we have are not good enough. Students are used to having up-to-date modern technology in their pocket, much better telephones, but we do. They are digital natives. We are not as teachers. I think that sometimes they have much better equipment than we do. But I would like to move the teaching and learning from teacher-centered lessons into more student-centered lessons, making students the authors not only of homework that we give them, but also learning materials. How can it be done? I think we could teach them during our lessons what they should do and then encourage them to prepare something for us. Why do they, when they, for instance, get a present, a new telephone, why are they so motivated to use it? Why do they want to see all the possibilities they have? And if we give them homework, they don't want to look at it. It's a matter of motivation. So if we implement mobile devices, they will use something they like and they will be motivated to do the task given. There are also disadvantages, but the most important is, I think, having it well discussed with school headmasters and the parents, because there is a tendency of not allowing to use mobile phones at school. So if we decide to do it, we have to prepare the students, the parents, and it has to be agreed with our headmasters at school. And it also has to be a limited time during our lessons for using it, like few minutes during the lesson, and more time to do tasks outside of the classroom. So it's like extended time, learning time outside the classroom, which is very important for our students, because if they do it outside the classroom, they don't feel the stress of doing tasks in a classroom, and it's more like learning fun, having fun during learning. What can we do? As Chinese proverb says, tell me I will forget, show me I will remember, involve me I will understand, and step back I will act. If we step back and, for instance, ask them to use their cameras to take pictures for certain tasks, they will feel they are involved in their learning process without being forced to do it. For instance, we can have very simple tasks, like me as a teacher of English, I can ask them to show us pictures from last holiday and make sentences using past simple tense or past continuous. But for instance, maths teacher can ask them to record a film with their work on measurement of the room to see how many square meters the walls have and how much paint has to be bought to have the walls painted twice. I think it's very useful. It's their life skill to know such things, because they're learning a lot of things at school, and a lot of them, they don't know the reason why they're learning. What's the reason for learning it? For instance, teacher of science can ask them to take 1 grain of a bean, put it in the water, and record it for a few seconds every day for a week or 2 and see how it grows, the plant grows. And then show the group the recording and describe what has happened to this bean. We could also use Kahoot, as Juan described before, which is my favorite, Kahoot. We can do a lot of quizzes with Kahoot and ask them using their mobile devices to give the answers. But we can also ask our pupils, our students, to prepare Kahoot materials for us or for the rest of the group. In that situation, they are the authors of the materials. We can also use our cameras, their cameras in mobile phones, to record interviews. Instead of learning Maria Curie-Skłodowska biography, we can ask 2 students to record interview with her. So it will be fun, and it will be much easier for other students in the class to learn facts from her life from their peers, not from the teacher and not from reading the text. There's also a wonderful page, Fake Book, not Facebook, K instead of C, and here they can make fake book page of Maria Curie-Skłodowska, and then there can be discussion under the picture, certain facts from her life, and I've done it with my students and they really like it. So that would be it. I think it's very easy to implement bring your own device teaching into any subject teaching, and I hope you will use some of the ideas I shared. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This was also very, very interesting, and I think you touched upon, I was reading the chat as well whilst you were talking, and I think all of the participants shared your thinking about the motivation and how to motivate students is a big dilemma for all of us. So thank you very much. And our next presenter is Veli, who is a mathematics teacher. So Veli, can you hear us? Are you here?
Hello?
Hello, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. How
Please go on.
it sounds? I hope
It sounds excellent. You
okay,
sound
that's
great.
great. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hello everyone. I'm Veli Alper Döndaş from Turkey. In the beginning, I would like to thank to all presenters and participators here, and also many thanks to European SchoolNet Academy team for this great opportunity. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Veli Alper Döndaş, as I said before, from Turkey. I'm a mathematics teacher. I have 10 years experience. Currently, I work in Yolbulanbaştu Vocational and Technical Anatolian High School in Osmaniye, Turkey. Today I will present how to use basic solid geometry in order to take an aesthetical photography. Yeah. Our subject in this interdisciplinary learning scenario is related with art, mathematics, geometry, and history. Our topic is solid geometry, which is a part of the official mathematics curriculum in high schools in Turkey. It is studied in the second midterm of the 10th grade. Mainly in this subject, students learn primary features of solids such as shape, angles, and edges. They also learn how to calculate solids volume, and surface area. There are 4 aims of this learning activity. First is to build connection between art, mathematics, geometry, and history. By this scenario, students will learn the basic properties of some solids and how to apply some geometrical facts such as perspective, harmony, and contrast between shapes in order to gain an aesthetical photography. Thus, students will create their own collections, their creativity and visual literacy skills will be developed, and students will also learn how to use Europeana. Let's go on. We have 5 trends related with this learning scenario. These are visual search and learning, fieldwork, outdoor education, bring your own device, collaborative learning, and peer learning. I'd like to explain outdoor education and collaborative learning. Students will create their own collections by taking photos with groups. So they will develop their collaboration skills and also creativity. 10th grade students will be 15 and 16 years old. The teacher needs to explore Europeana collection before the learning activity. It will approximately take 1 hour. We predict 4 periods will be enough for carrying out this learning activity. And there are online and offline teaching materials. Online materials are Europeana collections, Kahoot, and Padlet. Offline materials are notebook and camera. Smartphones also can be used as camera. There are 7 21st century skills related with this learning scenario. They are creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, ICT literacy, media literacy, curiosity, and communication. I'd like to talk about curiosity. During learning activities, students will try to figure out an answer to how perspective can be used for taking an aesthetical photography question. And the others are, I think, can be understood. Let's go on activities. First lesson, the teacher will present basic rules of solids, then distribute students into groups. Then the teacher will present Europeana collections. In the second lesson, students and the teacher will search Europeana collections. They will interpret the images. The main purpose of this activity is to give inspiration to students for creating their own collections. Third period will be creativity and production. Students will take photos which include solids and different usage of perspective. Creating process can be under guidance of the teacher. The teacher can arrange an excursion to the natural parks, urban sites, industrial areas, or historical sites with students in order to secure and organize the activity. After this activity, students will share their opinions and experiences on a Padlet page. And fourth period will be sharing and discussion. Groups will present their collections and students will assess each other by voting Kahoot. By voting, Kahoot will be used in this activity. There are also 2 assessment forms. One is for both teachers and students, and one is for student self-assessment. But teacher's assessment mustn't be about the creativity of the student. It must teacher must assess the link between photos and the subject. Thanks for listening me and thanks for participating.
Thank you very much. That was also very interesting because, interestingly, mathematics teachers sometimes can find it hard to find resources on the Europeana platform. So I really appreciate this because it shows that it's not impossible at all. Okay, thank you very much. And if you have any questions for Veli, please write it in the chat and we can address it at the end. And now we're moving on to Diane. Diane, can you hear me, please? Okay.
Yes, I
Can you
hear
try your mic? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
So, hello, my name is Diana. I am from Romania. I teach art. I teach in Romania in Alba Iulia at Abram Iancu Secondary School. My presentation is about traditional children's games in Spain, Turkey, Romania, Germany, Poland, and the Netherlands. But it's not exhaustive. It's just a short explanation about children games in art, especially in Bruegel works children games. I worked a lot with students to do this material because we have a project with another 5 countries, and each country has a subject, and our country, Romanian group, has a history class, and we prepared a history class about history and also culture. Peoples were divided into groups, and they have to separate outdoors and indoor games in specific artworks to find them and to explain their position. One group found about this ice stock sport being practiced since 16th century, painted also in Bruegel's children's games, as you see here. And they found 80 games in this work, and with the help of ThinkLink, I think almost of our attendees have learned about ThinkLink. It is an interactive application, and you can work on a photo or on a work or on a map to describe such certain places. So the children had to, the pupils had to explain what influenced Bruegel to paint episodes from common people's life, and they had to recognize in Bruegel's work some outdoor or indoor games that are also nowadays played by some children. And this was important because a lot of students doesn't use anymore to play outside because of the mobile phones. And it was important for them to, especially the students from the 10th class were very enthusiastic about this kind of work. Then they had to separate some episode from some games to describe them, recognize them, and even to reinterpret, to draw them again, or maybe to recognize if they played today, like playing with dolls for the girls, fence riding, making hats with pigs. There is a mock baptismal because Bruegel was used to not to paint so many religious scenes. He was a Renaissance. He painted in the Renaissance, but he refused to respect so much the religious themes. So you see, more a game, a hand game similar to rock, paper, scissors that dates back thousands years to ancient Rome and Greek times. Even now, children used to play these games. Also, a hoop with the bells, a variation of rolling the hoop. And after they recognized in that work many games, they had to explain the rules of some of them if there were changed the rules in time of those games. And also they have to compare some universal games played by children in those 5 countries, in Germany, in Romania, in Spain, in Germany, and in Netherlands. Also, in the last slide, you see now bowling, how they used in 16th century to play bowling. You see players attempt to score points by rolling a ball along a flat surface, either into pins or to get close to a target ball. The final exercise was for them to discuss what kind of conclusion could they make on these works. Why are important games for children? Why can they learn from those games? And also they had to search on internet or on Europeana or another sites if they encounter other artists painting children's games. Yes, I see some of the attendees talk about bones. I don't know what is bones. My country play with bones. I don't know. But I saw they were very enthusiastic about this because it was an interactive. I'm sorry that I couldn't put also a Think Link map with these games. But it doesn't took very much time. Any of you can do this interactive
Okay,
map.
thank you very much. And we will answer all the questions at the end. Is that okay? So we will have time for you to answer the questions. And if you are finished, then we would like to move on to Murovat. Are you here? Can you hear us?
Yes, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm here.
Yes.
May I start?
Yes, of course. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I'm Mürvet from Turkey. Good evening, everyone. I'm an English language teacher and I work for a high school. My learning scenario consists of searching the invitation and celebration cards and letters belong different periods of time in the past, and it aims to enhance language skills by using the related structures to understand the cultural and social components of the language. And the title of my learning scenario is Bridging Cultures by Ink, the story of invitation, celebration cards, and letters. In this learning scenario, students search the invitation and celebration cards and letters belong different periods of time in the past, and they then recreate the works either as a poster or digitally by using the Europeana sources. The subject is related to English lessons and it can be used for a wide range of other languages and literature of Turkish, French, German, Arabic, social sciences as well from another point of view. In this scenario is planned for high school students between 14 and 18 years old, but it is also available for secondary students too. According to our national curriculum, ninth grade students learn inviting, accepting, refusing, and making apologies in written and spoken language in English language lessons. And their level is generally A1, A2 plus. The preparation time can change depending on the skills that the students have already had. As I planned it for high school students, including the acquisition of related structures, its preparation time is around 1 hour and teaching time is between 2 and 4 hours. And Europeana collections, Historiana platform, art stories applications, transcribation are thought as online teaching materials in this project. The related web tools are considered as PowerPoint, Java, Flash to produce an infographic or poster for presentation, brochure creation. And in order to repeat and check the understanding, we will use Kahoot. And after that, the students share their ideas on our school website because our school conditions are not so much rich. The activities are based on the course book and the learning outcomes are recommended in our national curriculum. The teacher will provide the main structures and examples. After that, it pursues the worksheets and quizzes. And then the teacher will present how to access and use the Europeana resources for the target aim in order to help the students to constitute meaningful learning. The project implementation is as follows. First, groups are given a certain period of time for their inquiry on Europeana resources. Students will work collaboratively, and then they choose at least 3 different samples. Then they discuss and exchange ideas, plans how to recreate their samples, and then they compare the birthday, anniversary, weddings, or other invitation cards, letters belong to different periods of time. Finally, recreating session comes, and it includes rewriting the samples in different languages, either by handwriting or e-greeting, whatever they want. During the evaluation periods, the students are going to write their own invitation and celebration cards according to their preferences. And then they recreate the invitation, celebration cards and letters of their own, and they prepare their posters, invitation and celebration cards, brochures for the exhibition. After that, an exhibition will be held, and finally, our students will present a Snavision. And then, during the assessment period, each students are going to present their project work, and they are going to write short compare and contrast paragraphs, and then students first fill a self-assessment question list, and then a peer assessment will be done. The teacher finally evaluates their works by using a project assessment rubric. And that's all. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you very much for sharing everything. It was very interesting as well. Our next presenter is Seher. Are you here? Can you hear us? Hello?
Yes, I think it's done.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Please go ahead.
Hello everyone, I am Seher Güzel. I am from Turkey, Istanbul. I designed a series of learning activities about migration. Name of everyone is an immigrant within social sciences and art subjects. I work with my students at Gazikent Primary School in Istanbul, Turkey. By using ICT tools and the Europeana platform, I have planned a learning scenario which students learn why and how people migrated in the past, and they empathize the immigrant people and help them to integrate in their own society. Whereas the migration seems a current problem, it has been a constant issue since the early times of history. Since the migration is one of the elements of culture, I decided to work on it with my students in social sciences and art class. In social sciences national curriculum of 4th grade, we aims that students should show evidences from closed circle cultural elements, which has been moved from the past to the present. While implementing this scenario, students will develop their searching, designing, writing skills by using ICT tools and Europeana platform. The scenario designed for 9 and 10-year students lasts 5 hours. In the preparation section of scenario, teacher will show students Picasso's El Guernica painting and ask them what they see on the painting. While discussing about painting, the teacher makes students understand migration is a possible conclusion of war, and a painting can be an evidence of the past incidents. After that, teacher explain Europeana platform, Vanga Yourself, and ICT tools like Padlet, HP Reveal, Kahoot, and Canva. In the second activity, students separate groups. Each group has students with different abilities to complete each other and to peer learning. The groups choose a photograph from migration collection and exhibition of Europeana, and students prepare a board which explains the photo on Padlet. In third activity, to emphasize people on the picture, children review each photo like a photo of Van Gogh yourself. In the fourth activity, the students prepare an exhibition at the school by using AR technology. Every picture has a video is filmed by each group. The video tells about date, subject, artist of the picture, etc. The viewers use HP Reveal's application to watch video. When they scan the video by using mobile device, they can watch the video. Before the exhibition, they design an invitation card, a poster, and booklet on Canva. In this scenario, I implement trends, project-based, collaborative, personalized, and peer learning. Students focus on a project while they are working on it. They work collaboratively in groups. In each group, every student contributes the work according to their ability. As an assessment, I create a self-assessment form in Google Forms. Every group will evaluate other groups by different criteria. During this work, we will have the problems of internet connection and using application by viewers. There is another problem about Vanga yourself. I would like to apply Vanga yourself to recreate paintings about migration. Unfortunately, Vanga yourself has not so many pictures about migration. While working on this scenario, the students are expected to realize the following 21st century skills: creativity and innovation, collaboration, ICT literacy. The project will make emphasize students the immigrant people by acting their role in reviewing picture. Seeing the migration as a constant cultural element, they realize everyone could be an immigrant, so they will think about the concept of discrimination, war, and peace. That's all. Thank you for listening, everyone. Good evening.
Thank you very much for sharing, Seher. It was very, very beautiful. So our last presenter, we're moving on to Maria Rosa. Are you here, Maria Rosa?
I am here. Can you hear me? I am here.
Hello?
Hello?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Could you say something? Okay, now we can you say something, please? Now I think we can hear you.
I am here.
Yes, can you speak up a little bit, please? I think you've just muted your microphone. Okay, now you're okay.
Now it's okay for you?
Yeah. Yes, now it's great.
Okay, good
Okay.
evening. Hi everyone, I am Maria Rosaria and I teach math at High School Carlo Levi in Portici. Dunque, I have organized a learning scenario about golden ratio using Europeana collection and other digital resources. In real life, we can find some golden ratios represented by irrational numbers. From the most ancient times, it exists a divine proportion that has been used to obtain a harmonious dimension of everything around us. In geometry and architecture, in painting and music, in history and in science, we can see how this divine proportion corresponds to a ratio that has been defined as phi. So, in this way, with this learning scenario, students have the possibility to expanding the 21st century skills because my idea starts from the observation of students' behavior about learning process in maths. Students are the main asset in this process, and we need to use strategic methodologies based on their attitude, learning by observing, by doing, by sharing. And they can expanding their 21st century skill as this scenario is an interdisciplinary subject because they include the history, art, science, and so on. They have to research images, video, and observing the reality around them. So in geometry, we find the golden ratio when we divided a line into two parts so that the whole length divided by the long part is equal to the long part divided into by the short part. I mean, a plus b divided by a is equal a divided by b. The development of Fibonacci sequences is a very simple sequence where each number is the sum of two numbers before it. And when we take any two successive Fibonacci number, the ratio is very close to golden ratio. I choose this video because this video is a summary of different kind of example in this sequence. It's a very important sequence in maths. And also in Leonardo da Vinci, in Mona Lisa, we can see an example of artistic perfection by the golden ratio. So, also in history, in science, in the Greek temple Parthenon, the top of the column and the base of the roof line are in close golden ratio proportion to the height of the Parthenon. Also with different types of shells, for instance Nautilus. In botany, the fractal arrangement of the elements that make up the leaves of a tree follow a logarithmic diagram analogous to the sounds emitted by a monochord. So the Europeana collection is very interesting for students for their research about photos, some document, and the outcomes of this lesson depends on the groups of the students, as the teacher is only a mentor. Students have deadlines, have some deadlines to produce the deliverable, so there is a strong focus on productivity and accountability. Other examples of this golden ratio are very close in our time. For instance, phone card, credit card, or mobile phone. All these objects are golden rectangles with a ratio between base and height equal 1.618. This is the Fidia number. Thank you for your attention and thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well, Maria Rosaria. It was really nice. And now that all of the presenters have finished, we are going to give you once again presenter rights, so you will be able to speak. And we're going to address all the questions, okay? So I'm gonna just read out the questions from the chat, and then you can answer one by one, okay? So we had a question to Diane. They were asking about the age of your students and how long did it take for you to implement this learning scenario?
Hello, my age of students are from 12 to 16 years old, and almost 3 weeks we worked to search and to find and so on. But if you have apps, if you have internet, it's very easy for you to search information.
Okay, thank you. And now, Muruvat, we had a question for you. People were asking what Cinevision is. If you could share with us the link maybe to this application, and also tell us what you use it for, that would be great.
Cinevision is a simple way of simple way to prepare and present short videos by using projects. You can use different programs to prepare Cinevision too, for example, ProShow or other simple slide sharing programs. You can use it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And could you maybe post the link to this application into the chat so everybody can find it later on?
I haven't run into practice my project. It is already done. Has been done for learning scenario. But I will prepare it in a few weeks because I am going to use it for my lessons.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you very much. And I have also a question regarding an application. So Edita, you mentioned something that was called Facebook, and people would like to know what you can use it for and what it is. Edita, are you here? I think you need to turn on your microphone again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Talk, so it has to be green.
Yes, hello. It's Facebook. Okay. It's a tool. I've put the address in our chat right after I finished my presentation. It's especially designed for the teachers and students tool to create fake Facebook pages of, for instance, famous scientists. And you can, as I gave example of Maria Skłodowska-Curie, we can put her picture, students can put, I can help them. Then we can put date of birth, and we can say happy birthday to her, and we can put stages in her life, what she invented, when she received Nobel Prize, for what, which year, about her husband, and then the students can have discussion with her under almost look like a Facebook page. And because for them Facebook is like their second very important place to live for their well, internet life, they check it all the time, what's happening there. So as I said, it's motivating for them because we are giving them the tool that is already well known to them, and they are making comments, they are laughing at it. It's like learning for them while playing and while doing working with the tool they know very well. So first time I used it, it was wow effect to me and to my students. So please try. Just put on Google fake book if you can't find it, and it's like here in our dialogue I've put the address right after I finished the presentation. Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We also received a question that was for all of the presenters, but I'm not going to ask you one by one because it might take a little long. But the question was, did you all implement your learning scenarios? And actually, 2 of you answered yes, and 1 of you answered no. So I hope that that this meeting also encourages everyone to try out these learning scenarios because they're all great. But I also have a question to Veli. And also to Maria Rosaria, but first maybe Veli, you could answer. So I have heard before from teachers that sometimes it can be quite hard to find resources on Europeana that can be used for mathematics teaching. So I was wondering, how did you find your own resources, and what advice would you give to any other mathematics teacher who is in trouble finding some resources on the site?
That's a great question. In the beginning,
yes, we can hear you.
I really have some problems. I really had some problems with, by using Europeana on my learning activities. But when time goes on, I decided to do an interdisciplinary learning activity because you cannot use Europeana itself with a mathematics activity. So it must be interdisciplinary one. So I advise to math teachers to approach interdisciplinary. That's the useful one. Yeah. Okay.
I see. I think that's a very good advice. Thank you. Maria Rosaria, do you have anything to add to this?
Yes, just a little thing to add because I think our main problem in maths is to show our students how maths is linked in how they have to check in real life. Because usually we teach maths in theoretical way. But the problem is that students have to check, have to catch the real situation, and then they can apply maths.
Yes, that's also a very good advice, I think, to find something in real life that can be applied in class, and the other way around, so that teachers are more, students are more invested in finding out what's going on.
Maybe
okay, I think our time is unfortunately. Excuse me?
Maybe more motivated. They can be more motivated students. Sorry.
Yes, exactly, and we already talked a little. No, it's okay. We talked a little bit about motivation and how you might find it hard to motivate your students. So I hope that everybody found some nice ideas during this TeachMeet, but our time is unfortunately up. So I would like to thank every presenter, all of you, for sharing your amazing ideas with us, and all of the participants as well for coming. And you will be able to find the recording on the site in Module 5. So yes, that was it from us, and I hope that everybody has a lovely evening.
Goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.